when people ask who is she. I am a triple negative breast cancer survivor. You see, the intruder thought that it would end my life, but I have too many angels up in the sky, and God will not allow me to fail, and never puts more on me than I can bear. I've been through a lot, but through it all, God made sure I came out on top. Being on top looks different for everyone. Being on top for me means counting my blessings, each and every one of them. God chooses his army wisely before creating our stories. I'm grateful every day, but God gets all the glory. If you ask how I'm still standing, I can only give you one reply, and that is, God don't play about me and mine. I'm a survivor. God is not through with me yet. I'm a survivor. God gets all the glory. I just ask him what's next. I'm a survivor. What else would you think? I'm a survivor, and beyond the chemo room, my black is pink. I'm a survivor. They are gonna feel us on this G.O.D. I'm a survivor. I block out the noise and it's just you and me. I'm a survivor. God, you promised that I would be healed. I'm a survivor. We beat triple negative breast cancer and left cancer dying on the field. I'm a survivor. I'm Survivor Speaks. Yeah. When they ask me who I am, tell them I'm Survivor Speaks. Shout out to G.O.D, who's number one in my life. God bless Survivor Speaks. Yeah, I'm a survivor. If you asked how I'm still standing, I can only give you one reply, and that is, God don't play about me and mine. I'm a survivor. God is not through with me yet. I'm a survivor. God gets all the glory. I just ask him what's next. I'm a survivor. What else would you think? I'm a survivor, and beyond the chemo room, my black is pink. I'm a survivor. They are gonna feel us on this G.O.D. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. What else would you think? I'm a survivor, and beyond the chemo room, my black is pink. I'm a survivor. They are gonna feel us on this G.O.D. I'm a survivor.
Uh, here I am. Here I am. Steph, thank you for coming. I see you. That's understandable. No problem at all. You know what? I didn't know how to, because it's not, so this song is not on the, this song is not on the, I would have to send him the song. So I would have to send it. So if you want him to play, I mean, I don't mind. I wrote it. I'm just not singing it. You can put your email below stuff, and I'll send you a copy. Oh, wait, maybe I should just send the video, because I don't. Other than that, it's just a song. But if you send the send me your email, and I'll send over a copy of it. Uh, because I think I would have to send it to him. Yeah, I would. Because I didn't put it out. Pearl, but I wrote it. Just, yeah, I did it through other means. All right, so tonight on Survivor Speaks, we don't want to be here too long. So we're going to resume the rewind of the Darell Brooks trial. Just a little back conversation. A tragic event shocked the community of Waukesha, Wisconsin on November 21st of 2021. The annual Waukesha Christmas Parade turned into a scene of unimaginable horror when Darell Brooks drove his SUV through the parade route, leaving devastation in his wake. 6 innocent lives were taken, including children, and over 60 others were injured in this senseless act. Brooks, who had a lengthy criminal record, was fleeing a domestic disturbance when he plowed into the parade, showing no regard for the lives of those celebrating a beloved community tradition. The tragedy sparked questions about public safety, the justice system, and how someone with such a violent history was able to remain on the streets. So tonight we honor the victims, celebrate the resilience of the survivors, and look into the circumstances that led to this horrific event. It's the story of heartbreak, but also of a community coming together to support one another in the face of tragedy. Stay with us as we dive deeper into what happened that day and how we can work to prevent future tragedies like this one. So today we will only be watching the testimony of Brooks's ex-girlfriend, Erica Patterson. So we're going to watch her on Direct and Cross by Brooks. And I give her a lot of credit for being able to get up there and stand in the face of evil and finally tell her truth. So anybody that comes in, please give her a little grace. Um, I think she did awesome. So we're just going to actually start right off from where we left last time, when the idiot Brooks, said that he remembers that one of the jury members flipped him off. And so we're going to pick up right there because then right after that, they get right into Erica Patterson's direct her testimony. And then, of course, this guy does a cross. And like I said, to be an abuse victim and have to stand, sit on a stand. She was very nervous. I did speak to her one time over virtually. And then a lot of people, sometimes she comes on YouTube. She does have a YouTube channel and she gives updates. When she was with him, she didn't have access to her license. He had took everything from her. So she couldn't get her CNA certificate renewed or anything. But just a little update on Erica. She was on last time that I saw her on here was about a month ago. She pops in every now and then, and like she's very apologetic because she stayed away so long, but she popped back in. She got her license together. She's working. She said she's working a lot of hours, and of course she was dealing with alcoholism. And that's what a lot of people use a lot of different crutches, and nobody is better than the other one. Nothing is better than the other one. So she used alcohol to try to just distance herself from the pain. So of course that's an addiction. So she got addicted to it, but she's doing well now, and she may have some struggles, but she's getting through. Anybody that talks about anybody that was, had any type of addictions, that's not allowed over here. I have a sister. I love her very dearly. She's been clean for 20, oh, wow. My son is 24, 21 years. Anything is possible. She's been clean for 21 years and has been working. She's a supervisor at Syracuse University. She's been there 20 years. So I don't over here. This is a free, friendly zone. This is we support everybody that's in NA, AA, everything else. I don't like any type of bullying, really. You can have your opinion, and all opinions are welcome as long as it's done respectfully. And please respect the people in the chat. That's all that I ask. We're going to get right. I'm going to turn right to where we left off last week so that we can get started because there's some other things going on tonight. All right, so I don't know if you went to get in the shower yet, Steph, but that's a bet. I'll do that. Um, you just send me your email. So without further ado, I want to get started on today. I have it on 1.5. If you come in and it's too fast, please let me know. But I'm gonna listen to it at 1.5. Okay. So let's get Judge Darrell up here. We wish we had her for the YSL trial, but we don't. And let's get it. Oh, before I bring Judge Dora on, I just need to remind you that the show is sponsored by Restream. Um, I have a LinkedIn. Is my LinkedIn on my YouTube? Yeah. Yeah. So I do have the link on my YouTube page. I'll add it in the description below. But it takes, for some reason, it takes hours for them to download a show after I do a live. So I'm not sure about that. It takes a long time to process it on YouTube. I'm not sure about what happened with, what happens with that because it's already on YouTube. The video is already on YouTube. But um it's still in the process. So I don't understand that, but it could be because I use Restream. I don't use StreamYard. So Restream is it's been around for a minute. You can click the link, sign up for a free account, or you can sign up for one of their packages. Just know if you do create an account, regardless of whether it's free or one of their packages, your Girl Survivor Speaks gets a little commission, but it's at no extra charge to you. So let me just say that before I turn on the beautiful Judge Dora. And here she is.
It's my understanding that woman may have been in a gallery on Monday and was warned about behavior then. I have issued an order. She is not allowed back in these proceedings because of that. I believe we know her identity, and I can tell you with certainty it is not our juror. So, and if there's anything else, any other requests, I don't think it's necessary to bring that juror out given that record, but I will certainly do that if the state feels, or Mr. Brooks, that that's important for their understanding or confirmation at this point.
Yeah, and I think what would be important is to note if her pool number is the first 41. Mr. Brooks actually was in court on day one of jury selection, I know for a fact. I'm looking at my notes, it's unclear to me if he was present at any time in day two of jury selection. I know he was day one. So his claim that he was unable to see the juror at the time, obviously if it's the juror from day one, he was able to see her because he was in court with her. So that would also be something, I guess if we could establish that she was part of the first 41, then I think the record is clear that the defendant was in court when the first 41 were brought out, and therefore he could have objected at that time.
I will get confirmation of the number, and we'll go from there. Well, your request as it relates to that, Mr. Brooks?
Before I get to that whole issue, Your Honor, if I may, I would like to state for the record and would like the record to reflect that I personally don't identify by that name. I am here as a third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as an authorized representative for my client. I accept for value, in return for value, all the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments.
Your statements are noted for the record, sir. All right, as to the issue of the juror.
As far as the issue of the juror, I was maybe briefly present when the first wave of jurors were brought in.
Oh, with Mel,
being in here long enough to really get a look at
you'll probably
the jurors
be
coming
here
in
in a
because I was
minute.
removed at that time. Actually, either they were coming in or shortly after
might
they
be
were brought
somebody
in,
else
I
on
was removed.
YouTube.
I definitely was not present for
I
the
got
second and third wave. I was
right
in the other
here.
courtroom, so it would be, I can't see the jurors from the other courtroom on the monitor. So
I didn't speak to her
it
today.
would possibly be that I would have seen the juror that I was referring to yesterday.
Let me see
Understanding
what
that
you
that
got.
may very well be true.
Let me
My
see
recollection
what
is you
you
were
got.
removed pretty quickly due to an interruption early on. I don't have my notes in front of me as to when you were brought in or not. But I am advising you that I was able to confirm with others, including law enforcement, that the juror that you suspected was the woman who made an inappropriate gesture toward you at the initial appearance. They are not the same individuals. I've been able to confirm that. I know the identity of the woman who did what you said, and it is not this juror.
Is there any way that I can be sure of that?
Do you want to have juror? I think it might be 41. I don't want to guess. But I can bring that juror out when the jurors get here, and we can have her under oath testify that she was not at your initial appearance or any of the proceedings in this case. I'm able to do that.
That would be helpful, Your Honor.
All right. Can we check to see where they're at and if they're here? And if so, to have that juror put out.
Yeah, yeah, she do stuff. Yeah,
Probably
she's
best
a
we have a
late
record of
one.
the juror
She's
number
a
with
late.
specificity in any event.
Sometimes she be
Obviously,
late.
we may know that there's one person initial appearance who may have made a hand gesture. I just wanted on the record that if there was a second person, it's not the juror that's impaneled.
I'm not aware of another.
Nor am I.
I'm not interrupting, am I?
Give me 1 second. The juror will be out momentarily. Go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
I would like to state for the record, the prosecution seems to be saying this with firsthand knowledge.
You referring to the issue we're talking about right now?
Correct, Your Honor.
Is there a question with that, or I'm not understanding why you're raising that at this moment?
Well, I'm raising it because the prosecution said that, and they stated that they knew for a fact that this juror is not the juror that I'm speaking of.
I said that.
Well, the prosecution said it too, Your Honor.
I provided the information, said I've been able to confirm the identity of the person who made an inappropriate gesture to you at your initial appearance. And then based upon the informal questioning of the juror that you suspected was that, confirmed that she was not that individual, and then subsequent to confirming that informal information, I was able to do some additional questioning of law enforcement and others to determine the identity of that other person and confirm, in fact, that what you said happened, but it's not this juror. But we're going to bring that juror out just so you can, or I will, question her about that. So there's a very clear record that your concern and whether one of the jurors on this panel was at your initial appearance and made an inappropriate gesture can be put to bed once and for all, so that you're satisfied they are two different people, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You want to take over? No, yes, she's just going to sit in the jury box. She's a juror. She may be put under open question, but she's a juror, and so no one can film her, take her photograph. Go ahead. She can just sit in one of the spots in the jury box. All right. Good morning. You can have a seat. I just want to put on the record, this is juror number 41, and you are not in trouble. We just have had an issue come up, and we wanted to make sure we all had accurate information. At any point in time, did you attend any of the proceedings in this matter regarding Mr. Brooks? No. Were you ever at the initial appearance for Mr. Brooks? No. All right. State, have any follow-up based on that? Yeah. Mr. Brooks, any follow-up based on what I've asked this witness, or what I've asked this juror? Sorry.
No.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to wait till she's back out the courtroom because there's a whole one behind me.
Okay, so I see somebody else is here. Maybe you're in the bushes. Thank you for coming. If you can hit the like button, just in case you decide to run away, that would be helpful. Thank you for coming.
And then ask a follow-up. Mr. Brooks, we brought out juror number 41. Was that the same juror that you initially suspected was someone who was at your initial appearance?
Yes, Your Honor. All
right. And again, she denied. She said she told us she wasn't there, and I trust that satisfies your inquiry into this issue.
I'm still a little leery, but
okay.
I say that. I'm not interrupting them.
Go ahead.
I say that because I don't forget faces. I don't.
All right, I understand what you're saying, but the record is made clear and finding that juror number 41 was not at your initial appearance and is not the person who made an inappropriate gesture to you either at or following that hearing. All right, then any other issues from the state?
Yes, Judge, just briefly, if you, from yesterday's testimony, we'd like to move into evidence Exhibit 1, which was the map. Exhibit 3 played during Corey Rumpel's testimony, and Exhibit 5, which is the photograph of Erica Patterson. They were all testified to yesterday.
Any objection, Mr. Brooks?
Yes, Your Honor. I guess it would be to the terms of relevancy. There's been no testimony from Ms. Patterson, so I'm just curious to know the relevancy of that being made evidence at this point in time, because from what was said yesterday was that she would be testifying at some point. Would it not be better to have that admitted then if she decides to testify instead of right now when we're not even sure if she is going to testify?
Your objections are noted for the record. There was a proper foundation laid regarding each one of these exhibits. They also are relevant to the issues within this trial, and I'll admit exhibits 1, 3, and 5, and also advise the jury when they come back into court this morning.
Your Honor, I'm not interrupting, am I?
Hold on, I'm not. to you yet if there are any issues, any other issues from the state.
Yes, Your Honor, I would just like the record to indicate that I understand we did not follow up with this after the lunch break on the record, but it was my understanding that Mr. Brooks did receive the medical attention that he was seeking over the lunch hour. And then finally, Your Honor, just a reminder to Mr. Brooks as to the other acts evidence. In line with his questioning of Corey Runkle yesterday, Erica Patterson will be testifying here this morning. The court issued a ruling as to the other acts evidence. The state strictly abided by that. Mr. Brooks came very close several times to opening the door to that testimony. We treaded very lightly on purpose to be respectful of the court's ruling, but the court warned him twice. Mr. Wichow even personally went over and warned Mr. Brooks during Ms. Runkle's testimony. And before we start another round of challenges, potentially during Ms. Patterson's testimony, we just want to make a record of that so that Mr. Brooks knows if he opens the door to that other act's testimony, it will come in.
I appreciate you raising that as well. Mr. Brooks, on the issue of medical attention, did you see the jail nurse or other medical personnel during the lunch hour yesterday?
Yes, I did. I received a cleaning of my cut and a bandage.
All right,
Oh,
thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was getting to the other parts of the injury state.
Go ahead.
no,
Viewed the
he's
bruises that I
hurt.
have on my arm and legs as well. I don't know what's going to happen behind that, but I was looked at.
All right, thank you. Does not appear to me that any of these injuries are interfering in any way with your ability to be here today and assist in your own defense.
And
So that's
so
good.
jump.
Yeah, I'm just a little tender, just a little sore. So
All right,
Tender.
Mr. Brooks, do you understand what the state is referencing as it relates to the other acts evidence?
I do not understand.
Do you recall being in court at the end of August when the court addressed a number of motions, including a motion brought by the state to admit other acts?
And with all respect, Your Honor, this whole process is very, very new to me. So I'm trying to, I guess, stay within bounds of the questions that I'm allowed to ask. If I color outside the line, so to speak, is not intentionally, because I'm basically learning as I go.
So I'm going to have my clerk print out the motion for other acts that was filed by the state, along with the response that was filed by your attorneys at that time, and further advise you the court did not grant the state's request to admit other acts as it relates to your conduct with Erica Patterson prior to November 21 of 2021. And your questions yesterday of Ms. Runkle could have opened the door to the court revisiting that issue. That's why the court stopped. It was interesting. Ms. Runkle clearly was advised not to talk about other acts. The state followed the requirement that they advise their witnesses about the court's order as it relates to other acts. And I believe I kind of paused twice and said, are you sure you want to answer that? I referenced generally some prior rulings so as not to alert the jury to anything more than that. And then at one point, Attorney Wichow also came over, muted your microphone. I don't know what was said, but my understanding is he basically kind of gave you the same caution. There's a ruling, something to that effect. And I know you didn't proceed with the questions that you had originally attempted to ask this witness. So it's very clear what we're talking about. Again, I'm going to give you these so that you understand what I prohibited in this trial. And the record should reflect those filings are being provided. Madam Clerk, do you happen to have the document numbers for those? Sorry, I should.
170.
Document 170.
And 161.
161. So documents 170, 161 were provided to Mr. Brooks. So the only other thing I'll say on that, sir, is if you ask questions, I'm not going, that would open up the door potentially, or at least ask questions that call for answers that might fall within that order that I issued. You do that at your own peril, and you may open the door to the state bringing in other witnesses and other testimony about those issues. So I want you to be advised of that. You are correct that when the state made the request, I prohibited the state from introducing that evidence. So you're not incorrect when you say I didn't, when you kind of referenced about there's a difference between me prohibiting you and prohibiting the state. But from my perspective, the order that I issued was to your benefit. And so you can ask those questions. You're not prohibited, but then you potentially open the door to that information becoming admissible in this case. So I want you to be advised of that.
Quick, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to say that I accept for value in return for value these filings. I do believe that I have a little bit more clarity, if that helps.
Thank you for putting that on the record. Do you have any other issues you want me?
Very, very quick. I still don't understand the nature and cause of the charges against me, Your Honor, and I still would motion for oral tennis motion for the jurisdiction to be proven, the subject matter jurisdiction. And also a motion for.
Hi, Regina
finding fact.
McDaniel. Thank
Your
you
requests
for
are all
coming.
noted
Yeah, he
for
was
the record and for the reasons
horrible.
previously stated on this record. I'm
It's-
not going to
well,
answer those requests any further. They've already been denied by the court. I point you to
Yeah,
the
he
case
was
of
horrible.
the Beneby decision at 654 F3rd 753.
And he's
All
wasting
right, anything
time.
else, sir?
I'm not interrupting, am I?
I'm asking you a question.
Just
That's
for
why
the
he
record,
keeps
Your Honor,
asking
I would
us
like
to-
the record to reflect, is that a judicial determination that you are making?
Here he go.
Your Honor, Mr. Brooks, the record speaks for itself. I've made my decision. We're moving on. All right. With that, then, State have a witness available to call.
Would you also just make a record, Your Honor, this morning that Mr. Brooks does appear again in his orange jail uniform and that he was the ability to wear street clothes and decline that offer?
And in custody at the outset, or in person and in custody jail attire. I presume, Mr. Brooks, but please confirm for me you were offered the opportunity to change into street clothes.
As I stated on the record yesterday, I'm waiting for the results of the COVID test that I took. So until I get those results back, I would prefer to not wear street clothes at this time.
All right. Can you confirm for me, though, that you were provided an opportunity to change into them if you so chose?
And not to my knowledge.
Sir, I'm providing you with that opportunity right now. If you would like to change into your street clothes, into the suit and tie that you had previously, or any other street clothes, I would give you that opportunity. Did you hear me advise you of that just now?
I may consider it. Maybe I may have more information from the medical staff once we take a break, or maybe I'm anticipating. Well, actually, I anticipated that I would know before we even start court. So
Do you want me to have the bailiffs ask the CEO if there's any new information that can be relayed to you before we bring the jury out? Do you have any objection? I could email the jail administrator if you want, or I can just simply have the bailiffs do that.
whichever works best for Your Honor.
All right, let's see. She's not going to give me information in an email, that much I know, but I could at least find out if there's new information. If there's new information, then it's going to have to be given to you directly. That may require you to be taken into the holding cell to be given that information, okay?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Let me just continue that. Again, right now he's in the jail attire. We're going to give him an opportunity to see if there's any update regarding the testing that was done earlier this week. And until word whether there is new information or not, we'll not bring the jury out. I will make a record that Mr. Brooks does have the 3 boxes that have been referenced previously. I see the objection sign. I see the selected statutes that the court provided to him previously, and I see he has a number of papers in front of him. So he looks as if he's prepared to participate meaningfully today.
May I say something real quick for the record, Your Honor?
Sure.
I did bring these boxes up. I have not had the time
That's your
to go
business,
through
sir.
everything in there. As you can see, it's a lot. And that's putting it minimal. A lot. So I have not had the time to go through everything that's in there. I'm winging it, Your Honor.
You chose this. That's your business.
Deputy Wittig, any new information? Yeah. All right. Well, can you provide that? Well, let me just see. All right. All right, the information that I have on whether there's new information is they don't have the results, but medical will be called again to check on that to see if any new information is available. But as of right now, there's not. I also was advised that you were offered 3 times to have street clothes by Officer Gabor. Just want to make a record of that. All right, then, Mr. Brooks, we don't have apparently new information. I intend to just continue then, okay?
Really quick.
Oh, goodness.
To the decision of Your Honor for me to be removed from the proceedings over the last few days. That was used from the Illinois versus Allen, right?
Correct. I also had cited to a case that I believe is on point, although not binding on this court.
Yes.
I am persuaded by the reasoning in United States versus Jennings, found at 855 F sub 1427,
Three for days.
which is from 1994,
He's definitely
from
a fool.
Pennsylvania, as well as, sorry, just that one. That was affirmed by the Third Circuit in United States v. Jennings, 61 F 3rd 867, Third Circuit, 1995. So the first decision I referenced was a federal district court decision, and then the Third Circuit decision. Let me know if you need those citations again.
Does any one of those mention the being present through audio and visual?
Yes, audio. In other words, the defendant in that case, who also was a pro se defendant, was removed from the courtroom after he said he would continue disruptive conduct in the presence of prospective jurors, but he was able to continue to listen to proceedings through loudspeakers and transmit messages to the court. Was barred, and what the court held is he was barred from the proceedings by his own conduct, not by the court, and the conviction in that case was affirmed. You want that citation again?
No, I'm not interrupting, am I?
No, go ahead.
I do represent myself pro per. I would like that stated for the record. I'd like the record to reflect that, not pro se.
The record will also reflect your choice of term to describe your appearance today.
I've briefly read Illinois versus Allen. It didn't say, it didn't give any reference at all to him being present by audio or visual in that case whatsoever. It just strictly talks about the reasons that he was removed and the options that the judge had in that. One of them being that he could be bound and gagged. One of them being that he can be held in contempt and removed from the courtroom while the trial would continue, but it did not say anything about being present visually or audio or by audio.
Well, I appreciate you reading the case, sir, and providing that information. I'm well aware of what the case says. It says the Supreme Court talked about there would be no one formula for maintaining the appropriate courtroom atmosphere, and no one formula will be best in all situations. But the Supreme Court said this: we think there are at least 3 constitutionally permissible ways for a trial judge to handle an obstreperous defendant like Allen, going through the 3 things that you identify. And my findings here are that there's a 4th way, and that's through the wonders of technology that weren't available in 1970 when that decision was authored. So I appreciate the notation on the record. You are here today, and I hope you stay here today. That's certainly my preference. You've demonstrated you're able to prepare, you're able to ask questions, you're able to articulate in a clear, coherent, cogent way. And I'd like to bring the jury out. That's what we're going to do next.
I'm not interrupting real quick. I just want to say something very quick to that.
Very quick, sir.
I don't see that 4th way, Your Honor. Also, when
Mr. Brooks, my decision stands from previous. If you believe there's any error that I made, that is for you to address if there is a conviction and on appeal. But my decision stands, and the record speaks for itself.
Now I put on record that I intend to appeal that judicial decision, Your Honor.
Understood. You may appeal as you appropriate.
Excuse me, Mr. Brooks, nobody cares. Stop with the delay tactics. Yes, he is definitely a 403 type of guy. Yeah, nobody stop the delay. Let's go. So hi Regina, I didn't get to say hi to you verbally before. And so today we're just watching the testimony of his ex-girlfriend on direct, and then we're going to watch the recross, and then we're going to get out of here because I know that people have other places, that they're going to tonight. So for today, that's all we're watching is her testimony and her cross, and they're going to bring her on right now. So hello to everybody. Let's get right back to it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's bring the jury out. I will ask everyone stand for the jury out of respect for them.
It's like he's 5 years old. Let me put up this trigger warning. I don't know. Melon get here yet, or she's probably somewhere else. I have 2 other mods that I'm gonna unwrench, but
Teresa. Lord, I don't know. Oh, poor guy. So I'm going to send you this email. I just need the cases printed off. I don't want to interrupt with printing here. Or do you want to send it to the... I'm not going to send it. I'd have to search for it. So. Well, once she emails me, I'll reach over. Sounds good. But that's a great idea. Next door. Then we can have Andy go and grab it. I will print the email.
He's so important. Hey, Jello. That's not me now. That's her. She put the mute on. Look at him trying to act like he's so important. Yeah, Jella, today we just going to go over, like I just said, or well, you here before you put your, we're just going to go
ladies and gentlemen
over
of the jury. Welcome
Erica's
back.
testimony and
Make sure
her
looks like you all
cross.
have your writing materials to take notes if you so choose. For the record, I have received exhibits 1, 3, and 5. With that, the state may call its next witness.
Thank you. The state calls Erica Patterson.
Oh, where's my trigger warning? Because this is...
Good morning, Ms. Patterson. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is upper riser and to my right. When you get there, please raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's standing over here, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a seat. First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Okay. Erica Patterson, ErikaPatterson.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Patterson. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Sorry.
All right. Can you tell us, do you know a man by the name of Darrell Brooks?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask that the court have Mr. Brooks temporarily remove his mask.
Mr. Brooks, you're advised to remove your mask, please. Thank you.
Ms. Patterson, do you see Darrell Brooks in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
On the left side, and he's wearing an orange shirt and a mask.
I'd ask the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will reflect that this witness has identified the defendant.
Unless survivor speaks, records reflect that he was still contacting this young lady, trying to threaten her.
Can you tell us how long you've known Darrell Brooks?
Since I'm 15,
How old are you now?
32 today. Thank you.
What's the nature of your relationship with Mr. Brooks?
We have a 15-year-old daughter together.
In what state did you meet Mr. Brooks?
Reno, Nevada.
And when did you come to Wisconsin?
Last year, 2021, June 13th.
Why did you come to Wisconsin?
We were coming out here. I was going to be out here for 2 weeks and go back. I've never been back.
Who did you come to Wisconsin with?
Darell Brooks.
Where did you live when you got to Wisconsin?
Atlanta, Georgia. Or we live with his mother, sorry.
Mr. Brooks' mother?
Mm-hmm.
In what city was that?
Hold on. Was that a yes?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's what my job is to make sure the record is
Yes,
correct.
ma'am. Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
At some point, did you stop living in Milwaukee and start living in Waukesha?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember approximately when that timeline was?
November 2nd, 2021.
Okay. Where were you staying in Waukesha?
Women's shelter in Waukesha.
That's downtown?
Yes.
An old person by the name of Corey Runkle.
Yes.
Where did you meet Corey Runkle?
The women's shelter.
Were you roommates?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to the date of November 21st, 2021.
Yes.
Did you know anything about a parade happening in Waukesha that day when you woke up that morning?
I didn't know about the parade.
Okay, what about that afternoon? Did it become apparent to you that something
Yes.
was going on?
Yes.
Did you come into contact with Darrell Brooks on the afternoon of November 21st, 2021?
Yes.
Where did you first come into contact with Mr. Brooks?
At Frame Park.
And how did that come about? What were you doing and why did you get there?
We were messaging and calling each other all day. We were arguing. He came out there. Well, I told him I was with Miss Corey, and he came out there. I told him where I was. Got in his car. We drove around, and then I forgot the street. We went up that street. It's a hill. It's kind of by the Walgreens. We went up that hill. We drove around. Me and him got into an altercation. He hit me in my eye. I jumped out of the car, walked, and found my way back by Frame Park. And then he followed me there. And then I went back in his car. I got out, and I had called Corey. Well, I called Corey before that, and she came to meet me. I told her that me and him got into an altercation. So she met up with me, and by the time she got there, she pulled me out the way because his car turned around. He swerved. She pulled me out of the way. He got out of his car, and they got into an altercation. He pushed her in her face, and I don't remember if she hit him back or anything. That we walked away and walked back to the women's shelter.
Okay, let's go back and go through some of the details of that, all right?
Yes.
You said that you told Mr. Brooks that you were hanging out with Miss Corey.
Yes.
Were you hanging out with Corey Runkle earlier that day?
Yes. Her and her friend Nick.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you remember where you were with those two?
It was at the Frame Park because we had split up when I met up with Darrell.
Okay. Do you remember what you were doing in Frame Park with Corey?
We were just hanging out.
Okay. Any alcohol involved?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you
They had
remember?
like a Mike's Hard, a little Mike's Hard beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say that you were intoxicated after consuming one Mike's Hard beer?
No, I was not.
Okay. And at what point did you split up with Corey?
When Darrell was on his way, Corey and Nick had left, so I sat there and waited for him. We were still arguing on the phone, but I waited for him.
And you were in Frame Park?
Yes.
How did Darrell arrive? That is, he didn't walk to Waukesha.
He drove in his mother's car. It was the red. Was it a Ford, I believe? I'm not sure what kind of car, but it was the red.
Had you seen him driving that car?
Regina,
on previous
definitely.
occasions?
Yes.
Had you ever been in that vehicle before?
Yes.
When you were staying with Mr. Brooks' mother, were you staying in the house?
No.
Where were you staying?
We were outside. Sometimes we'd sleep in that car because his mom, he was not allowed to, be in the house. So, yes.
And you slept in that car with Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
That's before November of 2021?
Yes.
Okay. Describe for us what happened when Mr. Brooks first arrived in Frame Park when you first saw him that day.
We were still arguing, pretty much. He was arguing in a bad mood when he met up with me anyways.
This is an argument that face-to-face using words, not messaging,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get in the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, and what happened next?
We drove around and we were arguing, and that's when we got into the altercation in the car, and that's when I jumped out. We were up the hill.
Do you remember exactly the route that the two of you took while you were driving around?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. She may answer.
Yes, I do. I'm not sure the exact street names. Like I said, I'm not from Waukesha, but I do know the route.
After, the next day you met with Detective Steve Guthier, is that right?
Yes. It was the same day.
Okay. And you got in a squad car with Detective Guth
Oh, that was the next day, yes. Sorry.
and shot that you took with Mr. Brooks?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. You described going up a hill, right?
Yes.
Did you cross the river before you did that?
No.
Okay. What happened once you got up to the top of the hill?
He drove up farther more, and then that's when I jumped. It was on up the hill. It was farther more, and then that's when he hit me, and I jumped out of his car. Well, his mother's car.
Where were you sitting when he hit you?
The passenger side front seat.
Where was he sitting?
Driver's side.
What did he use to hit you?
His hand.
Was it an open hand, a closed fist?
Yes. What was it? Like this, sorry, like his open hand.
Okay.
But it was hard. Is
So
it?
the record should reflect that the witness raised her right hand and
Yes.
kind of waved it almost like a backslap?
No, harder than that.
Okay. What did you do after Mr. Brooks struck you?
I cried, and then I just jumped out of the car. And then going towards down the hill, he was following me.
Describe how you were going down the hill.
Walking down the hill.
And how was he going down the hill?
Driving.
The red Ford Escape?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
He just followed me all the way to the park.
Okay.
He tried to take my phone from me at the light going down the hill, and he just kept following me and arguing with me out the window.
Do you recall being near a gas station while this argument was happening?
Yes.
Objection, irrelevant.
Yes.
Hold on. Overruled. She may answer, and the answer she provided may stand.
Yes. It was right at the light. The gas station on the, that's a gas station on the left, and then Walgreens is towards the right.
And do you remember what was being said at the gas station?
I do not remember.
What happened when you got past the gas station?
I kept walking. He was still following me.
Did you at any point attempt to contact anybody for help?
No, just Corey. But towards the frame park. That's when I called her when I got closer to there.
Did she answer?
Yes.
What did you say?
I said he just hit me, and I said I need you to meet me, and that's when she met me.
Where did you go?
I walked past Frame Park, and I went. I met Corey, and I got into his car and then got back out, and I met Corey at White Rock School, I believe it is.
When you say his car, you're talking about who?
Darell Brooks.
And were you familiar with White Rock School at the time? Did you ever
No.
been there before?
No.
You just know that from
That's
talking about this afterwards?
yes, yes.
What happened when you got to White Rock School?
That's when I had got there, got back in his car, talked to him, got back out. Corey had met. She snatched me out of the way because he swerved his car when he made a U-turn, and then that's when he got out of the car and they were arguing, and he hit her in her face, and then I think she pushed him back. I don't recall. And then I was trying to split them up at the time. After that, we just kept walking and went to the women's shelter.
Who's we?
Me and Miss Corey.
Madam Clerk, could we please have the state's rear table projected for the witness? Hey, Ms. Patterson, I've projected on the screen in front of you a video marked as State's Exhibit number 4. Do you see the screen?
Yes.
Have you seen this video before?
Yes.
What does it depict, or what's in this video? What are we going to see here?
You're gonna see me walking, and you're gonna see him turning.
Does this video accurately show what happened in front of the White Rock School?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 4 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Any objections?
Yes, we haven't even played the video. How do we know what's even in the video at this point? Can we see the video before it is admitted into evidence?
Your objection is noted. The foundation has been laid. Exhibit 4 is received.
That's why you get a lawyer. You
And permission
don't
to publish is granted.
act like a fool and just represent yourself. Always
Shut
get
up.
a
I think
lawyer.
it's the Polycom system that's
Oh,
taking
yeah,
up
we
this
certainly
video.
can. Yep. There you go.
Timestamp of 51 seconds in this exhibit. Actually, can we pause quick? Pause at 1:04, and just to clarify, Ms. Patterson, we're going to watch portions of the video. We're not going to talk while it's playing, and then when it's paused, I'll ask you questions, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's resume at 1:04. Let's pause. We've paused at 1 minute and 37 seconds. Ms. Patterson, who did we see in the video there walking?
Me.
Okay. And we saw a red SUV, right?
Yes.
Who was driving that SUV?
Darell Brooks.
Was there anybody else in the vehicle at that point, to your knowledge?
Nope.
Okay, let's resume playing. Let's pause there. At 4 minutes and 17 seconds. The two people who just entered the screen from the right, do you know who they are? Do
Corey and Nick.
you know which is which?
Corey's on the left, Nick's on the right.
Let's resume playing.
Fags. There go that truck.
At 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Ms. Patterson, we watched the video, but you were there. Can you tell us what was happening during that portion of the video we just watched?
Corey and Mr. Brooks were arguing, and that's when he pushed her in her face, and I don't recall what she did back, and then that's when he drove off. One of them, I think it was Nick, called the police, and that's when he drove off.
Do you remember what Nick said when he called the police?
I believe Nick said he had a knife, if I recall, but he didn't have one, but that's what Nick said on the phone.
When you say he, who are you talking about?
Darell Brooks.
Okay. And you didn't see Mr. Brooks with a knife that day?
No.
What about Nick? Did you see him with a knife?
No.
Did you have a knife?
No.
Corey?
No.
Why do you think Nick said to the police that there was a knife?
Probably to make them come faster.
Who got into the driver's seat at the end of that video?
Darell Brooks.
And again, anybody in the vehicle at that point?
No.
Other than him?
No.
Let's resume playing from 6:03.
That's when he went and acted a fool and
And we can stop it there at 6 minutes and 54 seconds. What did we see in that clip, Ms. Patterson?
I walked away from Corey and Nick because I was mad, because me and her started arguing after that, because she was mad that I even met up with Mr. Brooks.
Okay.
And then she was running after me.
Do you know the direction that you were walking there?
Straight. And then...
That's fair. Well,
sorry.
confusing.
I'm sorry. It really is. I'm sorry.
Towards downtown or away from?
Towards downtown. Sorry.
And where did you go after you walked off the screen here?
I just kept walking until they followed me, and then we made a left. I'm not sure which street it was, but we made a left. We didn't know yet. We just made a left turn and went straight towards the women's shelter.
Before you turned off of the street you're walking on here, did you have contact with the police officer?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And you spoke briefly with that officer?
Yes.
And then where'd you go after you spoke with that officer?
Then we left. That's when we made the left across the street and went towards the shelter, women's shelter.
At the moment when Mr. Brooks left the little physical scuffle that we saw there and got into the driver's seat, how would you describe his demeanor?
He was angry.
Okay. How do you know that? What was he saying or doing that led you to believe that?
Besides the fact that he was arguing the whole time and he hit me, he was just mad. He just left very angry. He just drove off fast. He was mad they called the cops.
You don't recall any specific things that he said at that point?
No,
Do you recall what kind of shoes he was wearing?
I do not.
Do you remember meeting with detectives after this and saying that he was wearing blue slides?
I don't recall that,
Okay.
but sure I did.
Can we please pull up for the witness only? Exhibit 5.
Objection. Why is that for witness? Oh, sorry.
You recognize this photograph? Ms.
Yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead there. I'm assuming that Mr. Brooks withdrew that objection.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was my understanding, and appreciate that. Okay, go ahead.
And I believe actually Exhibit 5 has already been received and published, so I asked to do that again, to publish again.
Permission granted.
Jack, wasn't it supposed to be for the witness only?
The exhibit's previously been received, and the state requested permission to publish it once again, and I granted that request.
So when, just so I'm clear, when it's published again, then it's
Correct.
oh,
When I say permission to publish granted, that means it will be shown to the courtroom and to the jury.
okay. I didn't understand.
That's okay.
Ms. Patterson, who's that in the picture?
Look at what you did. You
And
should
that
be
photograph was taken
proud of what you did. You did that.
November 21st,
Yes.
the night.
Yes.
Okay. And what injuries do we see in that video, in that photograph?
That is my left eye that was swollen.
Your left eye would have been the eye closest to the defendant, based on your description of where you and the defendant were sitting in the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you sustain that injury?
From him, Mr. Brooks, when he hit me.
Ms. Patterson, did you consent in any way to being struck in the face?
No.
That's all I have for this witness.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brooks. Do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do. First of all, good morning
Good morning.
and happy birthday.
Thank you.
You stated that you were hanging out with your friend Miss Corey on the day of this incident, correct?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you were hanging out drinking?
Yes.
Would it also be fair to say that you occasionally drink too much?
Objection, colleagues.
Sustained.
Would it be fair to say that, well, let me back up. What were you drinking?
A Mike's Hard beverage.
None of your business.
Were you aware that
Yeah.
it was said that you were actually drinking vodka?
No.
Hold on. When there's an objection, I need to rule on it first, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Sustained that mischaracterizes the previous testimony. Next question.
So it would be fair to say that you were drinking.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you were a little intoxicated?
I was not.
How much did you drink that day?
One of the Mike's Hard alcohol beverage.
And around what time of the day was that?
I don't remember.
Was it shortly before
Yeah.
meeting up with the alleged defendant, or was it sometime before?
It was before.
He is.
Did you have anything to drink after?
No, I did not.
You stated that you were engaging in a conversation with the alleged defendant via the telephone. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Texts, phone calls?
Yes.
Joe, that's what I was saying. I gave her a
Were
lot
those
of
texts and
credit
phone calls of
because initially.
what nature were they of?
Me and Mr. Brooks were arguing throughout the day.
In the texts and phone calls?
Yes, we were.
If there were, if the conversation was argumentative, why would you agree to meet up with the alleged defendant?
Like he
I do
not
not know.
sitting there on my nerve.
Do you recall how the meetup was supposed to be set up?
I don't recall.
Did you at any time ask the alleged defendant to meet up with you?
Well, I told Mr. Brooks where I was.
Did you at any time ask to meet up with the alleged defendant?
No, I did not.
So it would be fair to say that the alleged defendant just came where you were?
Yes, I told you we were. And obviously, we were going to hang out. I never told Mr. Brooks to hang out with me. I told him where we were.
So why would, if there was an argumentative conversation prior to you meeting up with the alleged defendant, why would you tell the alleged defendant where you were?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
You just stated that you really don't know the city of Waukesha. Would that be fair to say?
Yes,
So how would you know exactly where you were?
because I was with Corey and she's familiar with this area.
Would it be fair to say that Corey overheard these conversations between you and the alleged defendant?
Yes, she was my roommate. She heard every conversation almost.
When you say every conversation, what would that
When
refer
she,
to?
when she
He
was in
just
the room with
fishing,
me,
y'all.
When I was always talking to Mr. Brooks on the phone, she would hear the conversations. She heard me and Mr. Brooks, me, Erica Patterson, and Mr. Brooks arguing the day of the parade earlier before we left.
So it would be fair to say that you were engaged in conversation with the alleged defendant before you even left the women's shelter?
Yes,
And those argumentative conversations continue into your hanging out?
yes,
Would it be fair to say that that's what led you to drink?
no,
Would it be fair to say you were drinking because that's what you wanted to do?
yes,
Is it true that one of the rules and requirements of being at the women's shelter is no drugs and no alcohol. Would that be fair to say?
Yes,
Yeah.
but when I was drinking, it was at Frame Park. I was not at the women's shelter.
Hold on, yeah. You know what? I wish that they would have let somebody loose on his, you know what? I just need a minute, y'all. He's triggering me as well. Like, what is wrong with him? What? We gonna have to get
backup. I think I'm gonna need 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 backup.
Yeah, I think we just all needed a minute. Let's get back into it because she's almost done, and this is
Would it
we're
be
just
fair
gonna
to say
watch
that you
her.
knew you had to come back into the women's shelter at some point that day, that they have a curfew?
Yes, and I made it before curfew.
Let me back up a little bit. You did state that part of the rules and requirements for being in the women's shelter is no drugs and no alcohol, correct?
Yes, it was not in the women's shelter.
That's not what I'm asking. It's part of the
But
requirement
who
and
is he
rules of
talking
the women's
to?
shelter, no drugs, no alcohol.
Yes.
That's an answer to your question.
Who
Sustained.
is he,
Next
who is he
question, Mr.
talking
Brooks.
to? That's what I want to know. Who do you think he's talking to?
Is there any type of drug and alcohol testing at the women's shelter?
Why?
I don't know. No,
Is there any? No?
No, or you don't know?
I don't know.
Would it be fair to say that if it was found that you were engaging in drugs and alcohol, that you might have lost your place at the women's shelter?
I'll object. I don't see how this is going.
Sustained. Next question.
So around what time were you hanging out with Miss Corey, you said?
I don't remember.
Do you remember where you were at?
Frame Park.
Do you remember where in Frame Park?
No.
Child.
And approximately at what time did you meet up with the alleged defendant?
I don't remember.
How long were you with the alleged defendant? Do you remember that?
Approximately 35 minutes.
Do you recall what? Well, you said that during this time you were with the alleged defendant that there was a argument going on. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you remember what that argument was about?
He was arguing with me about money because I did not bail him out.
Tell him, Erica.
You also said that. Well, let me back up from that a little bit. If you knew that the conversation was becoming volatile, why did you still meet up with the alleged defendant?
I don't know.
Regina, no?
To your knowledge, did the alleged defendant know anything about the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
And what did the alleged defendant know about Waukesha?
He told me, Mr. Brooks told me that his first child's mother lives in Waukesha.
Do you know that to be a fact?
That's what Mr. Brooks told me.
Are you aware that the alleged defendant in fact has no mother of any child that lives in the city of Waukesha?
Objection. If Mr. Brooks wants to testify, he should do so in a different state of the trial.
Sustained. You don't need to answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
Other than what you can recall about what the alleged defendant told you that they knew about Waukesha, how did the alleged defendant meet up with you in the location that you gave?
Mr. Brooks already knew where Frame Park was. Mr. Brooks previously had been to Waukesha plenty of times before. He's told me that.
And when was that told to you, and what conversation? Was it that day?
Before that. I'm not
True
sure which day it was.
narcissist.
I just know he knows about Waukesha.
I need you to point the day and time. True narcissist.
So would it be fair to say that when you told the alleged defendant where you were, that the alleged defendant knew exactly where you were?
Yes.
And how would the alleged defendant know that?
Because Mr. Brooks already knew Waukesha. He knew exactly where to go.
Did you at any time give directions where you may have been?
How can I give
Asked
directions when I barely knew Waukesha myself?
and answered.
That's a no, sorry.
So if you barely knew Waukesha yourself, where did you get the information of where you were from, where you were at the time of the conversation via telephone?
I left the women's shelter with Corey, and she knows that location. She told me what Frame Park was. I didn't know the name.
And would it be fair to say, assuming from what you just said, that you were with the alleged defendant for approximately around 30 minutes or so?
Yes.
And during that time, did you make any disparaging remarks or anything to entice the argument to escalate?
No.
So you didn't say anything at all during your 30 minutes with the alleged defendant?
No, because I was crying the whole time because Mr. Brooks was yelling at me, arguing with me.
So you said absolutely nothing at all?
I was crying the whole time.
Did you say anything?
No.
Guess
Few more questions.
what I said, Jella. Asked and answered. Asked
You said that
and answered.
during this,
Move on,
well,
sir.
once you had got out of the vehicle, as you say, you stated that your friend Miss Corey pulled you away from the vehicle because it swerved.
Yes, it was in the video.
You do know that we just saw the video. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, but there's two angles of the video.
Well, we only saw one, so I'm referring to the video that we saw.
Corey pulled me out the way when Mr. Brooks made a U-turn, and you almost swerved into Miss Patterson, which is me.
Would it be fair to say that the video does not show that?
There's different angles, but the video does not show that. The video we watched.
So the video that we just watched, that the jury just saw, there is no swerving of the vehicle and you being pulled back. Would that be fair to
From
say?
that far angle, you can kind of see it. Yes.
Would that be fair to say? If
You
there's-
answered the question, Mr. Brooks. Next question. Under 906.11, sub 1, sub C, I direct your attention to that next question.
Do you recall what was said during the altercation between is it Miss Corey and the alleged defendant?
No, I don't remember.
Would it be fair to say that you were standing right there?
Yes, I just don't remember what was being said.
Do you recall reporting anything that may have been said during that incident?
No.
Did you give a statement to anything that may have been said during that incident?
No.
Was anything directed towards you verbally in that incident?
Yes. Corey told Mr. Brooks, don't ever hit my effing friend again. I remember that part. That was in the beginning.
Corey wasn't playing with him.
Do you remember anything else that may have been said?
No.
Do you recall anything being said by Nick to the alleged defendant?
No.
Do you recall the alleged defendant saying anything to Nick?
No. I don't remember.
Jealous, like,
You
next
also
question.
stated that right after this incident, you
They're-
talked to
they're getting ready
law
to kick
enforcement.
him
Would that be
off.
fair to say?
Yes.
At any time, did you report any abuse?
Yes.
And what did you report?
That you hit me?
And you gave a statement to that effect?
No. Not to that police officer, but the detectives at the women's shelter.
Well, I'm referring to right during, well,
Oh, I don't
right
remember.
after the incident.
I don't remember what I told that police officer.
Just one quick second, I'm reading from the statement, if I may.
You may.
Do you remember what was said by the alleged defendant when that incident ended?
No, I do not remember.
Do you remember reporting in your statement that the last thing he said to me was F-U-B, erase my number? Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
Would it be fair to say that you reported that this was said?
I don't remember.
Stand your
Do
ground.
you remember giving a statement to that effect?
No.
Would it be fair to say that you gave a statement?
No, I don't remember. I gave a statement to the detectives at the women's center.
So
That's
would
what
it
I
be
remember.
fair? I'm sorry, I didn't know.
You done answering?
Yes.
All right, next question.
Would it be fair to say that your memory is kind of cloudy of that day because you were intoxicated?
No.
There's a lot of things in this statement that you don't seem to remember. Is that fair to say?
Sustained. Next question.
Would it be fair to say that you reported
Oh.
two different incidents?
Yes.
Do you remember the dates of those incidents that you
The
reported?
20th and the 21st.
Would it be fair to say that there was no incident on the 20th?
No.
Would it be fair to say that you were initially not truthful with law enforcement?
No.
Do you recall making a statement to law enforcement on November the 22nd of 2021?
I don't
I don't
recall.
remember. I made the statement on the 21st of the day of the parade when I met the detectives that night.
Do you recall making a second statement the next day? or the next morning rather, which would have been the 22nd of November, 2021?
Yes, I did actually. Yes, I did.
Do you recall what you reported that day?
I told them about the 20th when I met with Mr. Brooks, and all we did was argue. And you hit me then too.
So you reported incidents for 2 days in a row.
Yes.
And he already know.
Do you recall at any time telling law enforcement that you were not truthful and wanted to be truthful at that point?
No.
So you never made a statement, to your knowledge, that you fabricated a reported abuse incident?
No.
1 second here, I'm reading from them.
Don't nobody care where you were reading from.
To the best of your knowledge, do you remember talking with a detective? I don't want to butcher this name, Your Honor. I don't know how to pronounce it.
You can spell it if that's helpful.
Detective Behrendt.
Detective Barron, you're an officer.
It says detective, Your Honor.
Okay, ask your question.
Do you remember speaking with that detective?
Yes.
Do you remember what you were reading directly from the statement, Your Honor, if I may?
Ask your question.
Do you remember reporting to that detective saying you were not completely forthright with all of the information that you
Yeah.
had given because you were afraid to get other people involved in your drama or your business?
I don't remember that.
And I'll object and move to strike based on the fact that I'm safe in saying that that is not from the report which the defendant is referring to.
The objection is sustained. I'll grant the motion to strike by the state of the question and
Yeah, look how
any
he-
response that
and
may have
I'm
been
like,
elicited
yeah.
before I address the objection.
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, quick question on that. I'm reading directly from the report.
Next question, Mr. Brooks.
Just 1 second, Your Honor. I apologize for that, Your Honor. Do you remember at any time speaking with Officer Guth?
Yes.
And do you recall on what date that was?
November 21st.
Do you remember what you reported on November 21st?
That me and Mr. Brooks, I met with Mr. Brooks at Frame Park. Me and Mr. Brooks got into an altercation. You hit me. I jumped out of your car and I walked in, met my friend Corey. You followed me. And then after that, Nick and Miss Corey, they called the police officer. And then you drove off.
Just 1 second, Your Honor. Do you recall reporting to Officer Guth that you were not completely forthright with the information that you reported?
I don't remember. And no, actually, no, I did not say that. I apologize.
So reading from what was reported to Officer Guth states that what I learned from Erica Patterson was that when I spoke to her on the previous evening,
You can't
with Officer
testify,
Darrell-
Doc.
Was that the pronunciation, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
I don't have it in front of me. I'm not sure.
You
She was
can't
not completely
testify
forthright
from
with all of the
his
information she had given.
statement.
Would that be fair to say?
What was your question?
Do you recall in your reporting to Officer Guth that you were not forthright with the information that you gave?
No, I don't recall that.
So to the best of your recollection, at any time that you reported incidents to any law enforcement, at any time do you recall being untruthful?
No.
So do you remember the date and time of the first incident that you alleged?
I don't remember the time, but it was November 20th.
Do you remember what time of day that may have been?
I just said I don't remember.
Do you remember where you were at?
Frame Park.
I heard what she said.
So would it be fair to say that both alleged incidents that you are alleging happened at Frame Park?
The second incident on November 21st did not happen on Frame Park. We were driving around and he hit me.
What I'm asking is where you were at when you met up.
Frame Park, yes.
On
That's not what you
on both
just said.
alleged cases?
Yes. That's how Mr. Brooks knew where Frame Park is. He already knew Waukesha area in the first place.
Same park.
Yes.
Do you remember where you were at in Frame Park?
No, it was in the parking lot. The first side of the parking lot. Kind of by the baseball field, I think that is. If that is a baseball field.
Do you recall who you were with?
Nobody. I was with Corey on November 21st, and the first day on November 20th, I was by myself.
So it would be fair to say that you went to the park alone?
Yes. I met up with Mr. Brooks intentionally on the 20th, yes.
Were you drinking that day?
No.
And how did you know how to get to Frame Park, as you call it?
I knew how to get to Frame Park. I'd been the previous time before that with Miss Corey. Walking past it. I knew because Corey walked with me that day too. I just was not with her. She walked towards there with me.
And so then you separated?
Yes.
Did you separate from Miss Corey at any time during the 21st?
Yes, I did. She left with Nick and I was with Mr. Darell Brooks.
Do you recall to the best of your knowledge that it may have been someone else that she was with, that was with you that day?
She was by, which day? Are you clarifying? Which day?
November the 21st of 2020.
She was with Nick that day.
The entire day?
Yes.
And you guys separated from that point?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say you guys separated after hanging out and drinking?
Mr. Brooks, under 906.11, sub 1, sub C, you need to move on to a new topic. You've been over this multiple times. It's been asked, it's been answered, and now it's under my authority under 906.11, sub 1, sub C, you need to move on.
So to the best of your knowledge, well, let me back up. How did you communicate with the alleged defendant on November 20th?
Asked and answer. Where
Phone
y'all
calls.
at? We're jealous. Asked and
Strictly
answer.
phone calls, texts?
Both. Mostly phone calls.
Do you remember what was said in those texts and phone
Same
calls?
conversation we had on the 21st. He was mad because I wasn't giving him money from not bailing him out.
So why would you meet up with the alleged defendant that day?
Because I just wanted to. We have a 15-year-old together. I mean, I was always going to talk to you then.
Do you remember if there was any agreed upon meeting up that day?
Yes.
By you, by the alleged defendant?
Both.
Do you remember the reason why you were meeting up?
I just said why.
So it would have been just to conversate?
Just to conversate.
Would it be fair to say that you could have communicated strictly by the phone?
Yes.
Under 906.11, sub 1, sub C, the objection is next topic, if you have Mr. Brooks.
You said you came to Wisconsin from another state. Would that be fair to say?
Atlanta, Georgia, yes. June 13, 2021.
And why did you leave Georgia?
We were coming out here for 2 weeks. And I never went back.
Okay.
Number one, I came out here, I didn't have money. Number two, I had no way to get back. And you were always, Mr. Brooks was always physical.
So at any time were you ever
Tell the world, baby girl.
offered money to go back to Georgia, or did anybody at any time ever?
No.
Did anybody at any time ever lend any help to help you go back to Georgia?
No.
Did you, to the best of your recollection, did you want to go back to Georgia?
Yes.
Sustained. Next question, please.
So why didn't you file a report with law enforcement on November the 20th after you alleged that you were abused?
Because I've been dealing with it for so many years, I just didn't do it. I don't see what this has anything to do with this case.
How long have you known the alleged defendant again?
Since I was 15. I'm 32 now.
Would it be fair to say that you lived in different states from the alleged defendant?
Yes, but
Oh, I'm sorry, there was.
I was going to object and ask for clarification on the timeline there.
I'll sustain the objection, rephrase the question.
I was going to get to that, Your Honor. Would it be fair to say that during the duration of the time knowing the alleged defendant that the majority of that time you did not live in the same area or state?
yeah, yes, off and on. I met Mr. Brooks in Reno, Nevada. I moved out of Reno, Nevada in 2017 to Atlanta, Georgia. I moved Mr. Brooks throughout. I've known him throughout, back and forth, off and on. The whole 16 years, me and Mr. Brooks were not together, but it was off and on.
Did you guys live in the same area off and on during that time?
Objection. That's the answer.
Sustained.
Out of the 16 years you said it was, correct?
Yes, off and on, Mr. Brooks.
How much of that time did you actually spend with the alleged defendant?
Objection, Your Witness.
Sustained. Also under 906.11 sub 1 sub C. Move on.
She said, I'm glad he in jail. But I can't, I can't.
At the time of
this
this
is what
alleged
I had to
incident,
go
were you
through.
and the alleged defendant in any kind of relationship?
Yes,
And were you a couple? Were you just co-parenting? Or what was the nature of the relationship is basically?
we were together. I wouldn't have came to Milwaukee, Wisconsin if I was not with him.
So it'd be fair to say that you were in a committed relationship?
Yes.
What? Sir, move on. I thought he had got kicked out by now.
One second, I just want to understand. Would it be fair to say, I'm sorry, I didn't
Go
know.
ahead. No, there was a water bottle being provided.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. How did, before you came back into contact with the alleged defendant, how long had it been since you had seen the alleged defendant?
I don't know, but it's years, a couple years.
So it would be fair to say that there was a significant gap in between interactions with the
Oh
alleged defendant.
my
Yes.
God.
Sustained. However, she provided the answer. It may stand. Next question.
Yeah,
So during your time, well, approximately how long were you staying around the alleged defendant before this incident on November 21st took place?
Time. I just answered your question on the exact time.
Were there any separations or gaps during that time?
Objection, Your Witness.
Sustained.
At any time during these alleged incidents, were you with someone other than Miss Corey?
Corey and Nick the day of the 21st, and then we separated and I met back up with them.
Any time during that day, were you with anyone else besides those two that you just named?
Mr. Brooks, you.
What about the alleged incident on the 20th?
I left with Miss Corey, and then she went
Ask
a different
and
direction. And went to Frank Park
answer.
and met up with Mr. Brooks.
asked and answered.
Just one second, Your Honor. So, to the best of your recollection, you were not drinking on both of those days that you
Oh,
cited, the 20th and
goodness.
21st.
The 20.
Hold on. Mr. Brooks, under 906.11, I'm stopping this cross-examination. You've asked the same question, multiple questions, multiple times, and
Outta
at
here.
this point, I'm going to declare that
I
the
didn't know.
opportunity to cross is now concluded.
I didn't know that was the same question, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, it's been asked and answered multiple times. So with that, I'm going to turn to the state to see if they have any redirect.
Some brief clarification.
Go ahead.
Ms. Patterson, after the parade incident, which took place after the video we saw, right?
Yes.
Okay. You remember meeting with Detectives Jessica Barrett and Steve Guth that night?
Yes.
Okay. And you gave a statement to them that night, correct?
Yes.
You gave a second statement to Detective Guth the next day. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk very briefly about the first statement, the night of the 21st, the night of the parade incident.
Yes.
You told them about an incident that had happened between you and the defendant on November 20th, is that right?
Yes.
And you also told them about an argument that you had with the defendant on the 21st, is that right?
Yes.
But you left out the part about any physical violence on the 21st, is that accurate?
Yes.
And then when you met with Detective Guth for your second statement,
Yes.
on the 22nd, that's when you confirmed that there had been violence with Mr. Brooks on the 21st, is that right?
Yes. Well, they seen my eye on the 21st when they came, so I did let them know about the incident on the 21st. I did. The next day, I let him know about the incident on the 20th. Is what happened.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
To make it better. Sorry.
That's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. You may step
Thank you,
down.
Your Honor.
Right, and any reason to keep her under subpoena from the state?
No.
From the defense?
Yes.
Do you have a subpoena for her?
To my understanding, I was supposed to
All right, I'll take that up in a little bit. For now, I'd ask that she be maintained under the state subpoena until I can clarify that issue. All right, state, have the next witness available.
Yes, we do.
All right. So, as I said, some people thank you guys for coming. Some people, we were just going to watch the testimony of this idiot, and not his ex-girlfriend. I'm talking about him. Let me get him out of here. So yeah, Regina, yes, he is much older than she is. He's going to bring her back as a witness when he starts his case. So she's not done. He's going to call her as his witness. He is exactly what he looks like. To me he looks like, evil, pure evil. And he would have kept her on that stand if they did not stop it. But yeah, you are, during the second testimony, when he brings her back, is when he gets his spot blew up. And the prosecutor, the male prosecutor, oh, he really, yeah, it is terrible. But that the male prosecutor, because he brought her back and he started talking about an area that they were trying to stay away from, it was for his protection. They were all in agreement. That's a gray area. We're not going to touch the gray area. But he got his law degree from the school of idiots, from the law school of idiots. So he came and opened it up on his questioning, and the prosecutor was waiting for that. When I tell you, this man almost lost his mind that day, because what came out, he didn't want it to come out. But the fact that you opened the door, you wanted to bring her back to harass and terrorize her just one more time, you got what you gave. Now the whole world knows about who you really are. And at the time that you started dating her, you had no business. You were somewhere in, they met, like she said, they met in Nevada. And that's where he met her at. And not only that, allegedly, he was, pimping her out as well. So you were a man way older than she was. You took advantage of her. And so now, even though we go going over this, we don't have to see his behind for 1,000+ years. And I'm just to fast forward, he just got sentenced. He just got sentenced on the assault case that the state had on him against her. So he had her come back to court twice. I think it was twice. And the third time, now he I don't want to make her case seem unimportant, because he got time here. Judge Darrell gave him some time, the time that's allowed. The laws need to change about DV. They need to change. I don't know if it's better protections can be put in place for women, but they really, the laws need to change. So he got sentenced, I want to say about a month ago. Finally, he decided, I'm going to let a lawyer handle this case. And so he agreed to an Alford plea. Y'all hear from Wise. Oh, yeah. Well, Jella, you up on it. You know too. So Alford plea is he's not pleading guilty to anything, but he knows that they have enough evidence to win the case. So he took a plea deal, and they added that on to the 1,000-something years that he already got during sentencing, as he should. Because that part of the video, the victim impact statements, Not to mention, during this whole trial, this is a disgusting, evil man. He disgusting and evil, especially when somebody's standing up there talking about somebody that they, one of their loved ones that they lost, and you sitting at this table right here laughing. But it was all tears when Judge Darell brought that gavel down though and gave you all them years though. So, like I said, we wasn't gonna be here long today. I know, you know, you got Class C Beast starting his live at in about 2 minutes, and so I'm just glad that you came here. And I'm sorry I had to reschedule. My daughter's birthday was yesterday, y'all. I had forgot, so I had a house full of teenagers, 5, but it was a lot to me. Okay, so I always end my show this way because it wouldn't be me if I didn't. Tell you guys, remember to get your mammograms, fill your boobies to make sure that you are all right, and don't you dare let anybody come into your house and disturb the peace that passes all understanding. I am Survivor Speaks, and I'll see you guys in part 3 of this food. When we go over this foods next, whatever. But I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Yeah. When people ask who is she, I am a triple negative breast cancer survivor. You see, the intruder thought that it would end my life, but I have too many angels up in the sky, and God will not allow me to fail, and never puts more on me than I can bear. I've been through a lot, but through it all, God made sure I came out on top. Being on top looks different for everyone. Being on top for me means counting my blessings, each and every one of them. God chooses his army wisely before creating our stories. I'm grateful every day, but God gets all the glory. If you asked how I'm still standing, I can only give you one reply, and that is God don't play about me and mine. I'm a survivor. God is not through with me yet. I'm a survivor. God gets all the glory. I just ask him what's next. I'm a survivor. What else would you think? I'm a survivor, and beyond the chemo room, my black is pink. I'm a survivor. They are gonna fuse us on this G.O.D. I'm a survivor. I block out the noise and it's just you and me. I'm a survivor. But you promised that I would be healed. I'm a survivor. We beat triple negative breast cancer and left cancer dying on the field. I'm a survivor. I'm Survivor Speaks. Yeah. When they ask me who I am, tell them I'm Survivor Speaks. Shout out to G.O.D, who's #1 in my life. God bless Survivor Speaks. Yeah, I'm a survivor. If you asked how I'm still standing, I can only give you one reply, and that is God don't play about me and mine. I'm a survivor. God is not through with me yet. I'm a survivor. God gets all the glory. I just ask him what's next. I'm a survivor. What else would you think? I'm a survivor, and beyond the chemo room, my black is pink. I'm a survivor. They are gonna fuse us on this G.O.D. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. What else would you think? I'm a survivor, and beyond the chemo room, my black is pink. I'm a survivor. They are gonna fuse us on this G.O.D. I'm a survivor.